appreciate that. It's such an honor to be here today. What we're going to be talking about today is a little bit different. We're going to be talking about money and wealth, which can be kind of a tough topic to talk about. But what I will need from you to make this a successful talk is I'm going to need a little bit of feedback. Sometimes I might ask you to raise your hand or to give me a response. So if you're excited to talk about money, wealth, and this economy, let me hear you say greatness. Oh, very good. Let's do it one more time. That was awesome. If you're ready to talk about money and wealth, let me hear you say greatness. Now, one thing that's going to help me understand how to kind of guide this journey is to know exactly where you are from. Not financially, but physically. So, if you could, I don't know how this is going to go, just shout out, where in the world are you from?
Puerto Rico.
New York, Virginia, very good. Now the reason why I'm wondering this is because what I want to know is how many of you are from Ohio? Okay, so a lot of Ohio people. Wonderful. Ohio people in Ohio is a four-letter state. So I am from just north of here, Detroit. I went to a university called the University of Michigan. So the theme of today's presentation is going to be blue. But not just blue, it's a blend of maize and blue. But the reason why we're going to talk about the blend of maize and blue in Ohio is because we have a lot of people from across the world, very smart people. What happens when you blend the colors maize and blue? What color do you get? Green. And the nice thing about green is, well, green is the color of money. So, when we talk about money today, what we're going to be talking about is maize and blue, because that's going to help you get more green. Now, if you want to be good with money, there's two things that you have to understand about that money. You have to understand the emotional side and the practical side about money. The emotional side about money is, well, can I become successful? It is, do I hate people who have money? Are rich people who are in high school, very smart and hardworking kids? Questions like, what's your dream car? Now remember, we're in Detroit, the Motor City. And the extent of dream car were things like Dodge Challenger or Mustang, nice cars. But I would ask things like, well, why not a Lamborghini? Why not a Rolls Royce? And the response was, well, I could never have something like that. That's not in my realm of possibility. And so when you shut down your emotional side of money, it is going to be impossible for you to ever actually achieve the practical side of money. So what I'd like you to do, I believe all of you have a notebook. This is going to be a little bit personal because I want you to dig deep now, which will allow you to see the most success out of this. I want you to write down two things. Number one, growing up, what was your association with money? Is it that money is abundant or that money is bad? Is it that I can become successful or is it that I cannot become successful? Write this down, take 30 seconds and write this down. And then we're going to go to the next part. You know, money, let me hear you say greatness.
Greatness!
Pretty 50-50, interesting. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, we're going to dive into what we just wrote down in a little bit. I want to talk about the practical side about money, because as many of us have probably noticed, things have changed with money, especially over the last few years post-pandemic. So what I'd like you to do is talk to your neighbor for 30 seconds and talk about how money has changed for you in the last few years. Has inflation made things more difficult? Has money become more abundant? Just talk about it because I want to start to gather this practical side of money before we jump in. But money, with old money rules, you're never going to have a chance to succeed. And the reality is, the game of money has changed. I'll show you. If we go back in time a little bit to the early 1970s, here's what finances looked like. In 1971, the median household income was $10,290 a year. If you wanted to buy a new car, $5,000. If you wanted to buy a new home, $25,200. Anybody got a $25,000 home? I don't think so. If you wanted to go to college for 1 year, public university cost $400. Now, let's fast forward to how money is taking a look like today. In 2023, the median household income is just under $71,000. If you wanted to go out and buy a new car, $42,000. If you wanted to go out and buy a new home, $484,000. And if you wanted to go to college, it's going to cost you $9,300 a year. But are you ready for the kicker? If you're ready for the kicker, let me hear you say greatness. Greatness! Household income has changed because in 1971, household income was based off of one person's income. Today, household income is primarily based off of two people's income. So let me show you what this means. That means over the last about 5 decades, household income has grown by almost 700%. But the prices of things that you purchase, like your new car, have grown by over 800%. Home prices have grown by almost 2,000%, and public university tuition has grown by 2,300% in just the last 5 decades, which means you have to ask the question, what's going to happen in the future? And if you think the system's broken, let me hear you say greatness. Greatness! And this is where that education is so important, because if you don't understand this, well, let me tell you something. We're not going back in time where one household income is going to be enough. If this continues, which it looks like it's going to continue because things are continuing to progress like this, where incomes are not rising to keep up with the higher cost of living, you're going to need more green. But, like I said before, it's a game, which means you can learn how to improve in the game of money. But there's a problem with that. Something is lacking, because if it wasn't lacking, we'd all have enough money, and that, what I just showed you, wouldn't be an issue. So, what I'd like you to do now is write down what is stopping you from achieving more financial success today. Is it something on the emotional side, where your mindset is keeping you back? Is it the practical side, that I don't know what to do with the money, I don't know how to attract the money? Write this down right now.